Good evening, podcast world, and how my friends on Facebook doing today. Here we are, episode 13, Things My Mother Never Told Me. We got another special guest for you. We just keep rolling them in here. What the heck?
Yes, we do. Hey, Facebook.
Yeah, say hi. You say hi?
Yeah, I'm saying hi to the podcast world, and thank you all for tuning in.
Right. Tenia's going to read your bio, get your introduction, and then we'll get started, all right?
Yeah. All right. All right. What we have here is Dr. Katherine Garland, and currently working in the Marketing and Outreach Division for the State of Michigan Department of Natural Resources as the State Archery Education Coordinator. All right. I am a certified training instructor in archery for the U.S. Olympic governing body, USA Archery. She's also one of approximately 150 certified archery specialists in the world through the National Archery in the Schools program, or NASP. NASP is a target archery program for students grades 4 through 12 and is in 47 states, 8 provinces, and 11 countries. Woo, I call that worldwide. She's been in customer servicing for over 26 years. She previously worked at the state of insurance regulator of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Woo, woo, woo. Prior to her career with the state of Michigan, she worked as a team leader and a quality manager at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. She received a bachelor's degree in community development with a minor in health services and master's degree in health service administration from Central Michigan University. In 2014, she received her doctorate in public health with a concentration in health education from Walden University. Her husband and her are lifelong residents of Detroit. They have 4 Jack Russell Terriers that keeps them very busy. She's very active with her church and serves on numerous ministries. She also worked with the Tri-City Community Development Corp, and it's a nonprofit organization providing support, including health education in the Southwest Detroit community. And in her spare time, she enjoys reading, bowling, and listening to music. Okay. Hey, that's one of my favorites.
Well, all right.
I do all that.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Katherine.
Thank you.
Or she likes to be called Dr. G.
Dr. G.
How you doing?
I like that too.
I am well, thank you, and thanks for having me on.
Thank you for agreeing to come on. I think this is going to be an interesting topic. We're going to talk about a couple of things, but as you and I talked, when we talked on the phone, as you watched one of our podcasts before we did this, where did you go to school?
Oh, I'm a graduate of the Detroit Public School System, Cass Technical High School.
Oh, there we go.
We got to take
there you have it. There you have
it. 6 degrees of separation. You always run across a technician.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
All right. So, and you know why we always do that, and our listeners know too. We just want to show that the Detroit Public School System produces people who are doing wonderful things in our community and innovative things. So welcome once again.
Thank you.
So now we got you on here because we want to talk about this archery thing. And as we went over your your bio and your resume, we found out that you have your hands in a lot of jars or head.
I'm telling you.
So just real quick, especially because we've been going through this worldwide health crisis.
Yes.
Your concentration was in public health.
Yes.
So is there anything that you can share with us right now that you've noticed or that you've seen that may be of benefit to the people who are listening?
I think the most important thing as it relates to the coronavirus is that although the numbers are large of people contracting it, the coronavirus has been around a long time. This particular strain is a little different, but I agree with the CDC and the requirements to wear a mask, wash your hands often, stay away from basically people who are coughing and sniffling, because whether it's the flu, the coronavirus, you have to protect yourself and protect others. So that is the most sensible thing until they develop a vaccine. And then even then, who knows how effective it's going to be. So
Right.
the main thing is to protect yourself. It's no different than, you know, you stayed away from people who had the measles or the mumps. You know, you just have to make those common sense choices. And I keep monitoring it, although I do archery and I'm natural resources in my other life, I'm public health and health education, and that's the main thing, to stay on top of what's going on and make sure we protect ourselves from this.
All right, beautiful.
Mhm.
And I want to ask you one more question about your health background, then we'll get going.
Okay.
You, where did I see that? You had a concentration in, is it over there? In diabetes? Is that what
Yeah.
it was? Yes.
My dissertation was on the self-management of diabetes
Okay.
in the Metro Detroit area.
And what did you find when you did that study?
Well, what I wanted to know was how middle-aged African Americans felt about diabetes and what they knew about it. So what I ended up doing was giving them a questionnaire. Had about 25 questions about diabetes, multiple choice. And then I wanted to see if they felt that they were on top of managing their diabetes, or they did not have enough information. And if they didn't have enough information, why was that? Because there's a ton of information out there from the CDC and other public health sources. And I wanted to know if there were any things like education level, income level, marital status, that affected how well they managed their diabetes.
Okay.
And so what I found is that those individuals who attended college, had more than a high school education, was a little bit better at managing their diabetes. And I think that's simply because college affords you an opportunity to do research. And they were more in tune. They scored better on their on the diabetes quiz. And it was interesting that income level, those who had the lower income levels did poorly on their managements. And I believe that was simply because if you only have a few dollars and you have to feed a family of 6, you're not going to buy the healthiest things, because the things that are most healthy for you cost the most.
Cost
Vegetables and
right.
fruit. We're a little bit different now in the pandemic. They're giving away everything. But before that, because we're talking way, way back in 2014 when I was wrapping this up, yeah, there was transportation issues for those in the inner city, no grocery stores, but later on Myers opened up and that helped. So they were shopping at the little mom and pop grocery stores where the prices are high, and they were just trying to manage their households. And so that was a big factor also. It was interesting and led me to some ideas on some future research if I ever find some time. So.
Right. Well, you said you're not bowling this year, so there you go.
There I go. There I go. I got time. I dropped that ball for a minute.
Yeah, so you got a little bit of time. Okay, so
we're gonna change up the spirit a little bit.
And so thank you for that, because it shows us that what we've already, what we suspected for a long time is that due to economic circumstances and whatever, all other stuff going on, folks in that position tend to have the worst opportunities to be in good health.
Yes.
Yeah, because
health disparities are true.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I worked with a couple of my co-workers, like you said, they taking care, they were caregivers, and they taking care of them more than they were taking care of themselves.
Absolutely.
One of my co-workers went blind. She couldn't even drive anymore.
Oh my goodness.
For a while, you know what I'm saying? But she did get her health back. But one of my friend's sisters, she never got her sight back. So she had to retire. I don't know, but like you said, sometimes when you just don't even listen to the doctor, or you take your sugar or whatever, it's just so many things. But
yeah, you got the sugar.
Now, hopefully they
the sugar. Right.
People get the sugar. It's just,
right. The bad ones too, the one they call it sugar.
Okay, so yeah, thank you for sharing that, because you didn't come on here to talk about that. But no, I'm glad you were willing to share that your research and just show where you went with that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this archery thing.
Okay.
Because that is to me an interesting thing. You know, I know you looked at the prior podcast. We had a gentleman on here who was doing trap shooting.
Yes.
Which is another vocation, if you will, that we don't necessarily see in our community that much. And
Right.
a lot of us didn't know it existed until we met people, at least in our community, until we meet people like you and like him who actually do it. So what's your story? How did you get in archery?
You know what? I'd be lying if I said, oh my gosh, I wanted to be an archer and I decided to seek this out. I will honestly, I was working for the state of Michigan as the insurance regulator for Blue Cross because my background was health insurance, health education. Got laid off and they called me to this position. And I'm like, archery? What is archery?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. And I said, well, you guys need to advertise more. I had no idea the state had an archery program.
I didn't
And
either.
so I said, okay, I'll take the position because I wanted to work and make a paycheck. And so, but I will tell you, it was the best move. This position has opened up a whole new world to me.
Okay.
And so I went and I became certified with the National Archery in the Schools program as a basic archery instructor. And that certified me to teach archery to students.
Okay.
And then I went on to, about 3 months later, I became a basic archery instructor trainer through NASP, NASP. And then I think that was in 13 and 15, I became a specialist.
Okay.
And so I'm one of 4 specialists in the state of Michigan. And like I said, one of about 150 in the world.
Oh,
The
wow.
National Archery in Schools program is amazing. So my job is to put archery in schools.
Okay.
Okay.
I cover the entire state, Upper and Lower Peninsula.
Oh,
So
wow.
I get to travel around the state and it's amazing. I had never been to the Upper Peninsula until I started doing archery.
Right.
And it's just beautiful up there. It looks like a whole different state. So
It is.
it is.
It is.
But you know, falls and sand dunes and things like that. I'm like, what? This is Michigan. So I also went and became certified as a USA Archery
Okay.
instructor, and now I'm a USA Archery Level 2 instructor trainer. And that allows me to teach archery to community groups.
Okay.
So I do 3 programs. And National Archery in the Schools is the program for grades 4 through 12 in schools for students. And then community archery programming is in parks and recs and nonprofits and organizations that want to teach archery. I train and teach that. And then I do explore bow hunting. So I teach people how to bow hunt.
Okay.
And how to shoot crossbows and other things like scat identification, which are animal droppings, kill shots, blood tracking, building a deer blind, just interacting with nature if you don't want to hunt, these skills. And it's a curriculum-based program that I teach also.
Okay. And where do you teach that?
Everywhere around the state. So wherever the demand is.
Oh, so you go to their location and teach?
I go to their locations, and what I do, the main thing is, because if I actually taught all the classes, I would never surface. I mean, the demand is so high. So my job
Can't
as
get over that. I am really flabbergasted. I'm telling you.
really, well, wait till I get to what's located in Detroit. You're really gonna be surprised.
Yes.
My job is to certify instructors to teach them how to teach others.
Okay.
And so that's how I spread it out. So I do classes and events personally, but for the most part, just going around certifying people, providing archery grants and equipment keeps me busy a lot during this. So yeah.
I can imagine. So let me ask you a question on that. How long would it take for someone who has no archery experience at all
Like you had.
to get to be a trainer, instructor?
You can be, I would say, 3 months max if
Really?
you want to be good at it. I can teach you how to shoot and I can certify you in 8 hours.
Wow.
but then you have to develop that skill and that comfort level in order to be able to, you know, certify someone else. But the program that we do with the certifications for NASP, I certify teachers who are already trained and skilled in educating. And so I certify them in an 8-hour class. And when they're done with me and they take their certification exam and pass, they are ready to teach their students archery, and they do it very successfully. We have no incidences in the state of Michigan of any injuries with archery because we emphasize safety first.
Right. And so how much does that training cost?
Training for teachers is at no cost. The Michigan Department of Natural Resources picks it up for free.
Wow.
So I do those classes. There's no cost for teachers. And at the end of the class, they're certified. And I also provide grants. Now, this is all pre-pandemic because we're kind of on hold right now.
Right.
But I provide equipment grants to assist them in purchasing the equipment. And so the idea is you say, hey, I'm a teacher. I want to introduce a new subject for my students, whether it's in physical education classes. I've had science teachers, math teachers, English teachers do it. Archery is applicable to just about any curriculum topic because I tell them you can use the target as a whiteboard. So I've had teachers put a map of the United States and the students were shooting at it and they had to tell something about, you know, where the arrow lands. So I've had math teachers put math problems on the target. So use the target as a whiteboard. So we do have in the NASP program a curriculum-based outline that you can use, teachers can use to teach their students. So, so the teachers decide they want to introduce archery to their students, especially in the inner city. It's something new, it's something different. It's safe. And so they sign up for one of my classes. I certify them, assist them with getting the equipment, and they go back when the equipment is delivered, they are ready to start teaching. And so they can teach probably 1 or 2 classes and then have them shoot. It's not a long process for the kids to get on the range and start shooting. Once they learn the 11 steps of shooting and the safety protocol for the range, they're ready to shoot.
Wow.
You know, it's funny because last, I think Thursday or Friday, a friend of mine, Instagram account, she posted her husband was teaching their daughter, working with their daughter with crossbow. And I'm like, no, isn't that interesting? We about to have this interview and here this pops up on my timeline. So, okay. So now, so that I'm clear and so that our audience is clear too. So that was for teachers. What if somebody is not an educator and they want to be an archery instructor?
If you're not an educator, it's through our community archery program. So there are a lot of different opportunities. Let me narrow it down to the Detroit area. So right now, the Michigan Department of Natural Resources did a certification training for a number of people in the Detroit Parks and Rec. And so there's Heilman, Patton, ABC Adam Bunch, and let's see, it's another one, Clemente. They have archery equipment, archery instructors and programming where you can sign up for classes and learn archery. I'm trying to work with Kimony, which is in my neighborhood, to get the archery programming there. And so what I do is I certify those instructors through USA Archery, and then that allows them to offer classes through the Detroit Parks and Rec Community Center. So there are opportunities there. My office is at the Outdoor Adventure Center, and we have an archery range here. And so we have classes also that you can just sign up and come and take to learn how to shoot. And then if you decide you want to go further and become a trainer, you can do that through the USA Archery membership program. So you could start an archery club, you could sign up for advanced training through that organization, and it's recognized around the world.
Cool. So this is what I want you to do now. So don't forget, when this pandemic is over, y'all get back up and running, give me a call.
Okay. All right.
Because I want to do that, and I know some folks who do too.
Okay.
Oh, there's some great opportunities for you. So,
Dr. Jean.
Yes.
So that So all you have to do is know the 14 steps. You don't have to be no great archer. You just
The 11 steps.
11
She
steps.
trying to add. She done added 3.
Don't
See
add
there?
to it. Don't add to it. Just 11 basic steps. And yes,
So yeah, so you don't have to. You just show them. You don't have to be no great archer yourself.
no, you cannot have any archery experience whatsoever. And when you finish with one of my classes, I'll have you shooting bullseyes.
All right.
Shut
Yeah.
up. Well, I don't know, because I heard you have to have sharp vision, and I don't know.
Well, you
Some
know
of them
what?
ranges are kind of far.
You can set targets at different distances. We,
Mhm.
in the National Archery in the Schools program, we shoot at 10 and 15 meters.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So when I start out training class, of course, I'm not going to set you at 15 meters because
Right.
you'll never hit a target and you'll go, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I know.
But we start out with you close. We teach you the 11 steps and put a bow in your hand, show you how to knock the arrow. And we have you shooting at a close distance, and then I slowly back you up.
Oh, okay.
And so it's all about, we talked about it before we went on, it's all about muscle memory for archery also,
Right.
Mhm.
those 11 steps. And you want to master the skill.
Yeah.
And it's just like bowling.
Yeah.
You do the same thing over and over again, and you keep getting better.
Right.
So every now and then I'll do a class directly. I mean, you know, it depends on what the demand is, but every now and then I'll set up a class, you know, invite some people, bring them in, whether they are teachers or not. You know, it's part of my public relations to get the word out about what's available. And I can tell you from my own experience, the first time I picked up a bow and arrow and shot it, I fell in love with it. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Right.
And so when I go out and do events around the state, and people are like, so these are real bows and arrows? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, I said, can you imagine I get paid to do this? And so, you know, I have people walking up in 2 minutes, I'll have them on the line shooting. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So what's the essential equipment?
So we use, for the National Archery in the Schools program, we use the Genesis bows. And actually, you probably could see some of them behind me.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is one. It's a compound bow that we use. Compound having wheel and cam at each end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We use aluminum arrows that are, they have points, so they're real arrows. And basic equipment. I also shoot recurves, which is, they don't have the wheels. That's a recurve.
Right.
And I shoot crossbows, which is what
Yeah.
Ooh,
Robin Hood.
Hunger Games.
Yes, this is the crossbow. So I teach and shoot this also.
All
This
right.
is more like shooting a rifle.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's that's the equipment I do. And everyone's probably familiar with longbows, which is like back in the day with Indians, and it's just a bended stick with a string. So that's a longbow, and I shoot that also, but those are a little bit more challenging for me.
I'm
You have
sure they
to
are.
shoot it at an angle, and so it takes away from all my 11 steps in training. You have to change your position to shoot a longbow, but I enjoy shooting that too. But compound, crossbow, and recurves are what I mainly shoot.
Nice.
Oh, and the crossbow, you still have to do the 11 steps too.
No, the crossbow is a little bit different.
Okay, that's what
You're
this was
mimicking
saying.
more rifle shots. So
Okay, rifle shot.
yeah, so you're putting it in a crook and kind of rocking in that and aiming. So it's more like shooting a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is the body equipment needed?
You don't need body equipment.
You know, nothing.
No, we do have for a lot of our young ladies who are well endowed. There's a pad that you can put on, but that too, it lends itself to, you know, proper form. But yeah, I
Right.
think I've only caught myself one time. You don't see a lot of women shooting, and so yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
well, we're gonna have to change that.
absolutely.
Right.
I tell everyone, girls rule on the range.
So, wow. Okay, so now you were talking about the programs in the city, and was there some? Are there a lot of young folks that are doing it in the city now, or?
Yes, recently before, well, towards the end of last year, I worked with the athletic director of the Detroit Public School System, and we were able to put archery in 10 high schools.
Oh, wow.
And so we had already had some of the elementary and middle schools in the program.
Mhm.
And I would have students contact me and say, you know, can I keep shooting? Because it's time for me to go to high school, and they couldn't find any archery programs.
Right.
And so the city, the DPS CD and we partnered up, and we were able to certify instructors at a number of the Detroit public high schools and get them into the program, get equipment out to them. And so we were looking for a very active archery season, but then the pandemic hit.
Right,
So,
right.
you know, we're all kind of on pause, but we have 28 schools in the city of Detroit that have received archery instructor certification and or equipment and doing active programs. And some of the programs, NASP has been around since, we've had it here in Michigan since 2006, so 14 years, almost 15 years now. There are a couple of schools, Academy of Americas and Davidson Elementary over on the east side. They've been in the program almost since the very beginning.
Oh, wow.
So it's been around for a while,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was a well-kept secret.
Yeah.
It definitely was.
Right,
I
right.
mean, I know I'm not in high school, but my goodness.
Yeah. And usually people will say, well, you know, I experienced archery, like I went to camp or I was in the Girl Scouts or the Boy Scouts
Boy
or
Scout,
something. But it's much more prevalent now. We actually put them in the elementary, middle, and high schools. You have options in college. Michigan State offer archery scholarships.
Oh, really?
And they have a phenomenal archery team. But if you're going to, say you're going to Wayne County Community College and you want to start an archery club, you can do that through USA Archery. So there are some opportunities there. And I mean, my job is to get the word out and educate people on the opportunities for archery around the state.
Very good.
Okay, is it an expensive sport, hobby?
Well, I would say it doesn't have to be, but like with anything, you know, you could spend $50 on your bow or you could spend $500 on your bow. It just depends on how much you're into it. When you see those archers in the Olympics, their equipment costs a lot. I mean, they're buying top line bows, stabilizers,
Customized,
all that. But there are also opportunities, like if you were to go to one of the recreation centers that have archery, well, if you go there, you're using their equipment, you know, and if you like it that much and decide you want to buy a bow, the Genesis bow that we shoot through the NAS program, NAS partnered with Walmart and they sell it for, I think, about $119.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be expensive.
Right.
But then if you get into hunting, that's a whole different thing. The hunting bows run a few hundred on up,
Right.
or crossbows.
Yeah. And so since you brought up hunting, let's talk about that real quick. Because you and I talked about hunting, folks going out doing bow hunting. What's your experience there? What you done?
Say that again.
I said, what's your experience there? What's I'm trying to figure out how to put it.
Just say it.
No. I'm trying to, because I know what you and I talked about. You said there was a gentleman who was trying to go out hunting, bow hunting.
Oh yes. Okay. So like I said, this job has provided many opportunities to meet people and talk to people. And there is not a big, archery is not diverse very well. I mean, not much diversity in archery, especially bow hunting. But what I try to do is establish basically a Black network of archers. And so if I talk to someone, they say, you know, I want to try bow hunting, but I'm not comfortable just going out there by myself. Then I try to partner people up and say, well, hey, I know a guy who bow hunts. He's been doing it a while. Let me hook you up with him. You guys can go out together, and we're trying to build a network that way.
Okay.
Elite Archers, Eric Tomlinson is great. He shoots out over at Rouge Park, and he has this a club, Elite Archers.
Okay.
He's a Detroit resident, or maybe he's living in Farmington Hills now, but he has been very helpful. He works with the kids, and he's a great instructor and mentor for bow hunting. And so I throw a lot of people his way. Yeah, it's a network that has to be developed, because I travel the state, and I have to say sometimes I'm not comfortable all across the state. It depends on where I go. First of all, they do not expect to see a Black female coming as the state representative of archery.
Right.
And so I don't see many people that look like me, basically. So I am very much into trying to diversify this skill, this sport, and bring as many diverse people into it. And it's not just racial diversity. I had talked to the American School for the Blind, American School for the Deaf, Michigan School for the Deaf, to get their kids in it. Archery is for everyone. And so it's called adaptive archery, when you have to modify equipment or the process in order to allow everyone to do it. So if you're, in a wheelchair, if you're blind, if you're deaf, you can still shoot. And that's the great thing about this sport. Yeah,
because when I first saw this young boy that was blind, that was playing golf, I was like,
yeah.
Well, the stuff that you're talking about, that's part of the reason why we even started this podcast, is to get information like yours out, because a lot of us don't know about this stuff, because it's not what we do for the most part.
Absolutely.
And then the ones who know tend to forget. Because I'll share this, well, you can share it. When we talked the other day, you were telling me about the gentleman who was trying to find the gun club.
Yes.
and so that was so funny to me, but it just shows what we're trying to do. If you can go ahead and share that story.
Yes. So I had a gentleman come into the office one day, and he said he was trying to find out more information about archery and a gun club that he had heard about. And he said, he couldn't find it. And I wasn't quite sure what he was talking about. So I said, well, let's see what we can find out. And so we started. This guy is amazing. He traveled the world. He is amazing. And so we started looking up the gun club, and he said, Century, that's it, Century Gun Club. I was like, oh, so we found the Facebook page, and I gave him a phone number. And so he called me during the pandemic. We're shut down. And he called, he said, I don't know if you remember me, but I never did find the gun club. And so when I watched the previous video, I was like, oh my God, it's Century Gun Club. And so, people, we move in the same circles. And that, I was just so excited. I was like, I can't wait to call Mr. Russell and tell him that I found somebody and share the link with him. So
that is so amazing.
And that's something. So you guys are doing it. You're doing it. So that worked out for me. I was so excited, because whenever I can put people together and expand and broaden our horizons, I enjoy that.
Right. Yeah, me too. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to pair people up that have because even your story about how you got into archery, the young man last week, he started out as a teacher, and it just didn't go well for him. He didn't like it, and so now he's a front page editor for HuffPost.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because he was doing stuff on Twitter, and one of his friends said, man, you do Twitter real good, you need to look into that. And he wound up getting a internship with Huffington Post. Nice. And from there, he wound up going to the digital site HuffPost, and he's a front page editor.
Wow. And that's how you do it. I talked about zigzagging. There are people who know what they want to do, and they pursue it. And then there are people like me who kind of zigzag through life. And as you can see, I have a very diverse resume, because I've done a little bit of everything.
Right.
But, whatever I do, I try to, be the best that I can. And so I think I found my niche with archery. The great thing about archery is that when I present the program and people go, so you shoot? And I go, yeah, this allows me to reach my community.
Yes.
And that was the bottom line. I'm like, this is such a cool thing to do.
I know it's
It's
another
fun.
outlet for people.
Yeah, it's relaxing. You know,
Mhm.
I like to organize things like ladies' night on the range, you know,
All
and
right.
yeah, you see, so there are some different things that we can do. And this is great because, you know, you don't have to have a whole group of people to do it, like a bowling team. You can do it by yourself, but
Right.
you can get friends together and do it, you know, outdoors. You can shoot indoors, you can shoot. So it's just the opportunity that I enjoy providing. And so around the state, I do, especially when I go into Flint and Saginaw and Battle Creek and Grand Rapids, it allows me to reach, you know, my people.
Right,
So,
right. And you know, I wonder how
Yeah,
many
we
people.
all over.
Yeah,
yes, we are.
I wonder how many people actually know that the outdoor center, downtown?
Outdoor Adventure Center.
Outdoor Venture Center. I wonder how many know that there's actually archery opportunities in there.
Probably not. We do have it on a website. If you pull up the Outdoor Adventure Center webpage,
Yeah, okay.
the
But
archery opportunities are there, but I also promote that as I go around. And
Right.
so if you just think about the Outdoor Adventure Center, a lot of people do not even know what the Outdoor Adventure
Right.
Center
I
is.
know.
Because they just down there doing the Quinta walk, the cut, and out there
And
on the
walking
park.
right past it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So the Outdoor Adventure Center is everything Michigan has to offer regarding natural resources, downtown Detroit indoors. That's what it is. And
Yeah.
so you can learn about, like I said, Tequamanen Falls, which is up in the UP, and Picture Rocks, and you can learn about the salt mines here, and you can learn about wildlife and hunting and archery and everything, ORV, off-road vehicles, you know, things that we don't normally engage in,
Exactly.
but it's here, and the state provides that opportunity. And so archery is one part of it. But yeah, if you get out to your state parks, horseback riding, there are so
Yes.
many different things that we could do at the state parks that a lot of us just don't know. Because when you think state parks, they think actually the regional parks. They think Lower Huron and Metro Beach. Those are popular ones.
Right.
But when you look up, go on our DNR website, and you look up the state parks, you'll see all the different activities, beach yoga and paddle boarding, and just so many different activities that we offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was at the
Excuse me.
Outdoor Adventure Center and I saw the archery
Right.
room, but it was crowded in there too. I was like, dang, I'll never get a bow, you know? So everybody was all in there. So then I just had to explore the rest of the,
What made you go in there?
because I saw them people in there laughing and they,
Right.
Yeah.
it might have been the movie Hunger Games. I don't know.
See,
Would
everybody
you
knows.
believe I've never seen that?
What?
Never seen
You got
that.
3 of
Yes, I haven't seen any of them.
Well-
She talk about it every episode. It's
them? Well, you know, I just thought it was something you was gonna say. It's like
Haven't
I can't
seen
believe
it.
that.
right. And you know the
Well, the
thing.
first one was good, and then after that they started doing it.
Yeah,
Isn't that always how it is?
right, exactly.
Mhm,
But you know,
yeah.
you're right. The thing is that so often when it comes to written material or stuff that's put out there on the internet for us, we don't pay any attention to that.
Right.
Most of our information we get because somebody told us.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. And I'm so mad because we really should have had you on. Well, with the pandemic though, a lot of stuff was cut off. But if we could
We
have had
inspired now though.
you, right? But I'm saying we could have had you on at the beginning of the summer, but we didn't have this show at the beginning of the summer,
Right.
where people would have had the opportunity to actually go out and see these things and go out and taste and test them and try them.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys ever came down to Detroit River Days, but for about 4 years, I will have an archery range down there. And so as you walk through the Detroit River Days, when you got closer to Milliken Park, which is where we were on the DNR end, you could walk up and learn how to shoot. And so we did for each day of River Days, the weekend, I would do an archery range there. So they shifted it down to the west end now with all the development on the Riverwalk. But that, oh my gosh, I would be the first to open and the last to close because the
I
interest is
believe it.
there. I mean, it's fun and people could, for free, no charge, walk up and learn how to shoot. So
Yeah.
that was a way to reach a lot of people in the community about archery and what opportunities are here.
Right.
Yeah, we
right.
just didn't walk that far down. That's all.
That's all.
We
Got that
did.
carousel.
We was on the other side getting food and
Yeah,
and
you know,
music.
they're running into people. Yeah,
talking.
getting our seat for the show. Yeah.
Right.
But now we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Olympic archery aspect, because so what's happening with that? What have you had opportunity to do with that?
So me personally, I don't get an opportunity to shoot or compete in anything because my job is to train and certify others. But the USA Archery, their certifying body, these are the same people who, if they choose to, compete in the Olympics.
Okay.
And so I'm a certified instructor, trainer with them. And they have a couple of programs that are available to anyone. One of them is the Junior Olympic Archery Development Program, or JOAD.
Mm-hmm.
And for people who are target shooting and they're enjoying it and they want to grow and expand, then they can join a JOAD club, or if you have enough interest, you can create, and form your own JOAD club. And then you, through the membership through USA Archery, you learn the skills to advance your skill in shooting. And for those people who are gifted and decide to go on to shooting in the Olympics, we went out to the Olympic Training Center in Utah for a conference, and it was amazing to watch these people shooting at a small little target for such a distance, to where they had to use their binoculars to see where the arrow hit. I mean, that's how far they were shooting.
Shut up! And then they were still able to line it up and hit the target.
Yes, and that I was like, what a skill. And so that is through USA Archery. If you are in college, I mentioned this earlier, and say you went to a school that had NASP and you want to continue on shooting, no matter what college it is, if you get 2 or 3 gathered and decide you want to form an archery club, then you can do that through USA Archery also. And then through our Parks and Recs and other community organizations, USA Archery offers Explore Archery, which is a way to have fun, improve your skill, and earn medals and badges for shooting. And so those programs and activities, the fun things, put some paint in a balloon, blow it up, put it on the targets and shoot them. It's all kind of games you can play with archery.
I know. Yeah, that would probably be my favorite.
Oh, I used to put pictures of candy and balloons on targets when I would have classes with the smaller kids. And then I had a big bowl of candy on the table. And so you shot either a Hershey bar or a Reese cup or a sucker or hard candy. And then you would gather your slips and then go to the table and cash them in for whatever you shot. So you can do so many different things.
Yes, you can. You
we
definitely
play,
made it interesting.
play 21, you can play horse, you can do all kind of games that you do with other sports on an archery target.
All right.
That sounds like another thing I'm gonna be doing too.
I
can't wait to trap shoot. Me and my niece, we gonna be doing that.
I did trap shooting. I had the opportunity to go to the American Wilderness Leadership School out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Up in the mountains, we were offline, no phone, no television, no radio, nothing but nature. For 8 days, and that's where I learned how to trap shoot, among other things, fly fishing, making fly fishing lures. We did rifle shooting, which I'm not a big firearm person because I grew up in the city. My daddy said, "Don't touch them guns," so I'm not a big firearm person. But I had an opportunity to learn how to shoot rifle, and we did target. You know, you shoot those little tiny metal things, and they go bing, bing. Yeah, we did that little rifle competition. I did trap shooting. And some other things, so it was pretty cool. Hatchet throwing.
Our adventurous.
I was thinking about those games you were talking about playing. That sound like darts for big boys.
Yeah, could be, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I thought what you was gonna say led you to this throwing darts and stuff, but no,
No.
you just wow.
Just fell into it. You know, I told my pastor, I said, I guess God has a plan for me. I don't know why he told me about all this archery stuff. He was like, yeah, he'll let you know later. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah,
Right.
you right about that. He always reveal it later.
Yeah, you know,
Right.
you know
I'd
they
be out
say,
there hunting rabbits or something. I don't know.
right,
Whatever it is, you gonna need the skill one day for something.
Amen. I
right.
utilize everything I've learned so far. So
Right. Well, that's good.
yeah,
That's good.
that's what you're supposed to do. That's what
Exactly.
you grow.
Ain't no sense learning something if you can't use it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you had something else you want to answer? Oh, but you know, well, before we forget, so you thought you were gonna get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna segue right into our favorites portion of every show.
Okay.
So can you share with us something that you've learned in your travels and your journeys in life that your mother never told you about and you might wish she had?
Ooh, and I saw that on the video too. You know, I thought about that because I did see the other video. My mom died when I was 17. I had just turned 17.
Yeah.
And so I hadn't really lived. I just graduated from high school. And she passed away that October after graduation.
Hmm.
So she was gone before I had a chance to start living.
Yes.
And it's hard for me because she was young. She was 42. I was 17. It was hard for me to think of how she would view what was going on in the world because I didn't have a chance to get to know her.
Right.
But I've had other aunts and mother-in-law and grandparents that kind of, you know, play that role. So I would say probably the one thing I could think of that I've experienced that I wish they had prepped me for probably was or is just the importance of saving, financial management,
Mm-hmm.
not living that paycheck to paycheck cycle, breaking that cycle.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing I don't recall any of my aunts or my grandparents telling me about.
Right.
But I think had my mother lived, she probably would have shared that with me because she managed our household until she, you know,
Right.
had to leave us. So
Yeah.
that's the one thing I would think of.
Right. Well, I don't know if I was talking about on that show that you saw, but the title came to me because it occurred to me. My mother died when I was 26, and it was actually a couple months before we got married.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
But in the time from when she passed until this year when it came up with this, so much has happened. You know, like you were saying, she didn't really get a chance to live. So much has happened that there's no way. And my father died before she did, so there's no way that they could have prepared me for any of this stuff.
For any of this stuff,
Because
right?
this stuff wasn't thought of.
Right.
When they were living, it wasn't thought of. So it's things that we miss out on because they didn't get the opportunity to share that wisdom they would have gotten with us, would have gotten to share with us. So it's a question for us to just give us time to think about where we are.
Yes.
Yeah, and how we could have been if they had opportunity to share with us, where we could have been, like you said, with that financial management. Because it's funny you brought that up, because we're looking into it, going to have somebody in that field on here in the upcoming weeks.
Oh, great.
To talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's something that even if they told you, we need a professional to tell us something else.
Yeah, and sometimes we still struggle with it.
And sometimes we still
better
struggle.
at it. But
Absolutely. But you know, I will say that the things that my mother did share in just her existence, and also my aunts and my grandmother, the majority of the people in our family have been married for decades.
Okay.
So I think maybe one or two people have divorced, but everyone else, my grandparents were married over 60 years. My
Okay.
parents were married over
Wonderful.
20 years before she passed. And so I, this year celebrated my 30th wedding anniversary.
All right.
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
So thank you. And so that's something that I picked up from her. And, you know, that just, you know, the homemaking and how to take care of family and things, even though we didn't sit down and talk about it, but I saw it. She demonstrated it every day until she
Yes.
became ill and left. And so, yeah, we got some great things from our
Right.
mother,
Right.
Mhm.
Without a
they
doubt.
said it or not.
Right.
Right.
And stuff that, like you said, they didn't tell us, and we didn't know about it until the time came for us to deal with it. And
Mhm.
then we remembered.
Yes, yes.
Because a lot of times we don't do what our parents tell us anyway.
They say go left, you go right.
Yeah, that's right. But we remember what we see.
Yes, absolutely.
We
And
don't
that
forget.
is still forever. So
Yes.
I'm thankful for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And I get this money management down. Ooh, I'm gonna be.
I know
Right.
you're right about it. I know, because a lot of our guests did talk about, you know, their credit and all this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, and just relationships, you know, issues and all that kind. But yeah, and I like you. Now that you brought that up, because he has a lot of longevity in marriages in his family as well. Not me, but he does in his family.
But you two
Not our
together,
family.
yeah.
Yeah, we together.
Yeah, because we 35 years this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah, so
You know, you don't hear that too much, not to divert from whatever, all the stuff we were talking about, but you don't hear about longevity in marriages. You know, people give up too soon. So
right.
Yeah, that's what Damon said.
I think that Christian family household base says a lot.
Yes. Yes, it does. It does. It does. So let's get away from that now.
Yeah.
But I mean, but it's important. It's important that we talked about it though.
Right,
Just
right.
for a hot second. So you say you basically things is moving slow because of COVID. So what's the plans coming up for
Ooh, I would love to know. Tomorrow is the first day of our new fiscal year.
mhm.
And so our direction as far as what I'm allowed to do comes basically from the governor. So she just extended the state of emergency.
Yeah.
And so even though that affords her the ability to protect some people from, you know, like eviction and things like that, it still puts us on hold until things, you know, they release the budget information and how it's going to go. My prayer is that we'll get to a point where they lift the restrictions that we have and we can get back to some semblance of normalcy. And then I'll be able to start scheduling classes and bringing people in and getting them certified. I will have the funding to provide grants like I normally do to help them get equipment. I'll be allowed to travel to the additional rec centers and keep spreading archery. That's what I love to do, keep spreading archery.
Right.
And so, but unfortunately, right now, everything is on hold. It's on pause. The state is taking care of the most important things, which is protecting the lives. And so wherever the funding needs to go and whatever they need to do with us at that time, that's where we at. But I'm hoping it'll lift soon.
Okay, good.
Maybe after the winter. I don't want to be out in the snow, but
you and me both.
All I know is you generated some interest in me, so I got a lot of stuff I need to start doing.
Right.
I got a lot of living to do.
there you go. It is so much stuff out there. I can't tell you. I've experienced. I walked a whitewater rafting. I did that out in Wyoming. I was like, oh my God. And I have a fear of water.
Oh
Really?
my
Me too.
goodness.
But I was in a raft with those people.
Who act like they don't fear anything.
As long as I got a life jacket,
You know,
I'm all right.
I'll say this to you, and let me think. Yeah, you were the first guest that brought visual aids.
Yes.
Oh, wait, do I get a cup or something?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
You get a t-shirt. You get a t-shirt for being on here.
Oh, well, thank you.
So send me your size, and they're gray gray with the gold and one is black with the gold. So let me know which
Okay.
yellow. Let me know which one you want in the size, and then I'll throw a mug in just because you brought visual aids.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I want people to see it because I tell you, when you pick up a crossbow, you know, hey,
Oh
people
yeah,
like, wait, I'm ready to shoot that baby. So,
I know that part,
right.
right?
It makes a difference.
How much does that thing weigh? Is it like,
this weighs about 4 pounds.
oh,
Really?
okay.
And when you shoot, they're called bolts. They're shorter than the arrows.
Oh,
With
okay.
the bolts, and you load them on top. So when you shoot these, it's called FPS, foot per second.
Okay.
And depending on the size of the crossbow and the resistance, it's how far it shoots. So hunting crossbows will shoot anywhere from maybe 300 FPS to 450, depending on the size. So they're
Okay.
pretty high powered.
Mm-hmm.
They'll drop a deer or some other stuff if you shoot it right. So yeah, the other compound bows that we shoot, they have a draw weight of 11 to 20 pounds. And so
Okay.
when you draw like that, it's not really hard. It's a lightweight, it's a teaching bow. So it's, you know, it has some resistance. It can do some damage, but in just instructing, you know, you want to teach without overstraining, pulling that string.
Right.
But then the draw weights go up. So
Okay.
they hunting in Michigan, you have to shoot, I think it's a minimum of 40 pounds draw weight. So
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And when it, and just for folks' knowledge, when is bow season? Is it now?
Tomorrow is the first day of
Tomorrow.
archery. Yep, deer hunting starts tomorrow. Yeah, so for all the bow hunters out there, ready to make sure you got your license and get out there and do some social distancing and bow hunting.
Yeah, because I knew it was coming up because Dunham's been having a lot of sales on
Sale,
bows the last
Yes.
couple of weeks.
Yeah, archery deer season is tomorrow.
And how much does a license cost?
Oh, good question. They vary if you're in-state combo license, and you know what? I don't have the exact price here because I was looking at them for 1 or 2 tags. You know what? If you want to hold on, I'll grab the price list.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll be right back.
This is our show.
All right, this is our show. Yeah, we do. We want to. All right.
Right. So y'all hang on. We want in case you're interested in finding out, because I'm interested. I don't know if I'm ever go bow hunting, but it's good to know.
Well, you know, we'll still be able to go downtown or out to the Riverwalk, to the outdoor center,
Yes.
and they have that in there.
So if you haven't been in the outdoor center, you need to go down there and check it out. Because I know a lot of you've been past it. More of you've been past it than been in it.
I just thought it was something for kids, so that's
Right.
why. And then we just happened to go in there.
See, I still haven't been in there.
Well, who did I go in there with?
You probably went there with Shay or
Oh.
Jackie or the kids.
Yeah, I went in there and they had the archery, and then, like
Right.
you said, they had on it, and I was all walking across the bridge, and
Right. 'Cause even when you and I went down there, they were closed.
yeah.
We got down there after they closed for the day.
I think when they first opened up, and me and some people from Blue Punch went down there.
Oh, okay.
But it's a lot of stuff to see, that's for sure.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So,
But I'm
Anyway.
tripping that she because when I looked at the back, I said I wanted them bowls back there behind her because
well, when she said she was at work, and I looked at him, I said, "Yep,
Yeah.
she got equipment in back." So I thought she had set it up.
because it could have been skis.
Yeah. So, any were any questions online?
Mm-mm.
Where we at?
I don't
We're
know.
just listening.
Brandon to let us know if it's a question.
Yep, so. Well, yeah, I just cause like you said, it's some interesting stuff.
All right.
I was like, our office has been closed. I have no idea where they put the price list at. We've been closed since March. They sent us home in March.
Wow.
But you can access that information on michigan.gov
Mhm.
/hunting.
Okay.
The 2020 hunting digest is out there, and the cost of the licenses. So I apologize for that, but yeah, we've been shut down since March, and we normally get those digests in around July, but the office has been closed. So.
Right. Repeat that address again.
www.michigan, and that's spelled out, .gov /hunting.
Okay. Cool.
Yep, and look at our 2020 hunting digest, all the dates, the requirements, the cost of the licenses, all that information is there.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I can't wait till the outdoor center open. I said I'm gonna come on in there.
Yeah, well, you know, we've had a couple of false starts. Like I said, you know, we're anxious to open back up to the public like we did pre-pandemic, with the safety precautions, of course. But yeah, we're moving into the fall winter, so I think everybody is kind of on a wait and see how this is gonna. But we offer as many services as we can through the restrictions that we have. So
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
you've given us something else to learn and something else to do.
Right.
all right, I
and-
look forward to teaching you guys archery. Have you shot before?
No, I've
Not a
never.
real bow, no.
Oh, well, we're gonna have to get together.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know, we retired, so we got time to
Oh,
do
yeah.
stuff.
Like you
Absolutely.
said, we can be there when it opens.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I want to. That's why I want to know when it opens back up. Get with me because we want
I
to come down.
definitely will.
Yes, we want to come down and do that. You got anything else you want to share with our viewers, listeners?
I have really enjoyed talking with you guys. This is my
you.
first podcast, so I was like, "Ooh, this is something." I really enjoyed it,
Right.
and I think it's important. It's another vehicle to get the information out. People can contact me through the Michigan DNR. If they want more information, I'll be happy to share anything and everything. And if you are a hunter and you're looking to partner up with other African-American hunters, I'm expanding that network. Just contact me. My email address, Garland, K and the number 3 at michigan.gov. And
All right.
Is it
I'll
Michigan spelled
connect
out?
you with, my job is to connect you with whomever I need to connect you with to get you out there shooting.
Now, is that Michigan.gov? That mi.gov or
Spelled out.
Spell out the whole word.
Michigan spelled out, michigan.gov. Garland, K and the number 3, because
All right.
there's 2 other K Garlands here ahead of me, so. Garland K3 at michigan.gov.
Okay.
Any questions about archery, you want to know, information, no matter where you are in the state,
Okay,
I
cool.
cover the entire state. Me,
Yeah,
myself, and I.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
I'm excited,
Right, because some
girl.
people
I'm
did.
telling
Some people
you.
did ask for your contact information. So.
Oh, great, okay.
Mhm. And then, like you say, it's not into, it's not that many women that are into it, but hey, once we get together with them
There's
girls,
a reason why we don't.
You
want
know
y'all-
what?
I know
Bring
it's a
a
reason.
friend, that's how we expand it. Reach one, teach one.
I
Each
love
one,
it. I
get
love
one.
it.
That's right.
I'm
You
excited.
could do some fun things
Mhm.
in archery, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
right.
I can't wait.
You got any other questions?
No, I'm all excited. I'm ready to go.
all right, let's
The
do
door's
it.
open.
Right. All right. So we thank you again so very much for coming and sharing with us. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm going to when it gets back to where we can do it, we're gonna be there.
We're gonna be in the door.
All right, I will definitely be in touch. And thank you again so much. And thank you to the listeners and viewers. I really enjoyed this.
All right.
All
Remember to
right,
send me that
good.
information so I can get you that shirt in there, mug.
All right, thank you.
All right,
you
thank
take
you.
care now. Thank you.
All right,
Bye now.
bye-bye.
Oh, have a
right.
good evening.
Yeah, so you go ahead. You can go ahead and close and take yourself off.
Okay, I'm trying to
Mm.
find this. I'm like, there's so many different things on here.
It
Where's
sure is.
I
Lower right hand
know.
corner.
lower right hand? Oh, no wonder I have something else here.
All right.
We're
There
gonna have a busy spring, Auntie. We're gonna be doing it all.
I know we're gonna
I got
be
dark in
busy.
here.